Have you ever caught yourself wondering, does he actually like me, or am I just imagining things? Maybe he acts a little different around you, but you can't tell if it's real, if it's genuine, or just friendly. And honestly, that uncertainty can feel exhausting. You find yourself overthinking every message, every smile, every little gesture. And sometimes you feel a little lonely, like nobody's really seeing you for who you are. I get it. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Sometimes life just makes it hard to trust your own feelings. Maybe you've grown up in a family where emotions weren't talked about. Maybe your parents were distant, or arguments were constant, or even small gestures of affection felt rare. And now, when someone gives you attention, even small attention, your mind spins. Is this real? Does he care? That's normal. Our brains are wired to protect us from disappointment, especially when we've learned that affection isn't guaranteed. So, how can you tell when a guy secretly likes you? And I don't mean just the obvious stuff. I mean the subtle, almost invisible signs. The things that make your heart race because it feels like he's trying to connect, even if he's too nervous to say it out loud. Let's break it down. One sign is attention, but not just any attention. I'm talking about when he notices the small things about you. Maybe he remembers your favorite snack, or the little joke you made 2 weeks ago. Psychology tells us this isn't just coincidence. Humans naturally pay attention to things they value, especially people they're drawn to emotionally. When someone consistently notices details about you, it's a form of emotional investment, even if he never says it outright. Another sign is body language. Have you noticed he leans in when you talk? His shoulders might turn towards you even in a crowded room, or maybe he mirrors your movements without realizing it. Scientists call this mirroring behavior, and it's deeply rooted in our social instincts. Mirroring happens subconsciously when our brains are drawn to someone. It's a subtle way of saying, I feel connected to you. Then there's that nervous energy, when he fumbles his words, or laughs a little too loudly, or suddenly looks away when you catch him staring. That's actually a classic psychological response called approach avoidance conflict. Deep down, he wants to get closer, to show interest, but fear of rejection keeps him hesitant. And that tension, that little awkwardness, it's actually a signal he cares more than he's letting on. Another sign is consistent effort. Maybe he checks in on you, not just for convenience, but genuinely. He wants to know how your day went. He asks about things that matter to you. Psychologists note that consistent pro-social behavior, little acts of kindness, genuine interest, is one of the strongest predictors of romantic feelings. It's not about grand gestures. It's about reliability, attentiveness, and emotional investment. The last sign is protective instinct. You might notice he quietly steps in if someone's being rude, or he defends your opinions in a group, or he worries about your well-being. This isn't about showing off. It's about empathy and attachment. Studies on attachment theory show that people often display subtle protective behaviors toward those they are emotionally drawn to, even before they consciously acknowledge their feelings. Let me give you an example. I once knew a woman named Emily. She told me about this guy at work. He never said anything romantic, but he always noticed when she seemed stressed, brought her favorite coffee without asking, and subtly made sure she was included in meetings. At first, she brushed it off. He's just nice. But over time, she realized these little gestures were consistent, intentional, and emotionally meaningful. Psychology explains this as a combination of attention, mirroring, and pro-social behavior, all unconscious signals of affection. Another story. Imagine a guy who laughs at your jokes, even the ones you think are terrible. He sits a little closer than everyone else. And sometimes you catch him staring, then quickly looking away. You might feel confused. That's natural. The human brain is wired to respond to social cues, but fear and self-consciousness often mask clear communication. Understanding these signs isn't about reading his mind. It's about recognizing patterns that consistently indicate interest. But here's the important part. Knowing these signs isn't just about figuring him out. It's about understanding yourself. It's about noticing your feelings, your responses, and giving yourself permission to feel seen. Maybe you've spent years second-guessing attention because of past family patterns. Maybe you've been anxious about rejection. Understanding these subtle signs allows you to step into relationships with clarity, empathy, and emotional intelligence. So what can you do if you notice these signs? First, give yourself time. Observe his behavior over days or weeks. Patterns reveal intention more clearly than isolated moments. Second, trust your instincts. Your mind and body pick up cues that your conscious brain might miss. Third, engage in gentle communication. Ask questions, share small stories about yourself, and notice how he responds. Real connection grows from reciprocity. Fourth, manage your own expectations. Understanding psychology helps, but it doesn't guarantee anything. It helps you respond with clarity, not anxiety. And finally, cultivate your own emotional well-being. When you feel secure in yourself, you can notice and respond to interest without desperation or fear. Remember, human emotions are complicated. People show affection in different ways. Some are loud and obvious, others are subtle and quiet. And that's okay. What matters is that you recognize the signals without losing yourself in over-analysis, and you respond in a way that respects both his feelings and your own. Take a deep breath. Pause for a moment. Reflect. Notice how your body feels when you read these signs. That awareness, that mindfulness, is powerful. You deserve clarity, connection, and emotional peace. And the fact that you're even paying attention, trying to understand, that's growth. That's emotional intelligence at work. So next time you notice small gestures, nervous laughter, subtle attention, or protective behavior, maybe he does like you, and maybe, just maybe, your heart is ready to notice it too. Take a deep breath. You deserve peace. And remember, the world isn't always straightforward, but your mind is learning, growing, and understanding more every day. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing